Hey everyone, this is Michael again, and welcome to my review of tonight's Evolution pay-per-view. The first ever WWE all-women's pay-per-view. And it was held at the Nassau Coliseum in Long Island, in Uniondale, New York and Long Island. And this is a historic pay-per-view, historic-making pay-per-view for WWE. And, was really excited when it was announced in the summertime. And the only reason why WWE, did this is because they were going back to Saudi Arabia for Crown Jewel. And of course, the woman, can't go to Saudi Arabia. So that's the only reason why WWE did this, as sort of like an apology for people who thought, the woman would go to Saudi Arabia, but, they can't. So, this pay-per-view to me, the way how it was built, the way how, they were building up for this pay-per-view was complete shit. Looked like WWE didn't give a fuck about, this pay-per-view, because they put all their efforts into promoting Crown Jewel, which is coming up on Friday. And, and the card to me was shit on paper. It looked like shit on paper. But, after watching the show tonight, I gotta say, Evolution surprised me. This was a decent show. Wasn't a great show by any means, but, it was decent. It surprised me. So, yeah, but still, there were some, matches that, there were some matches and points, that were meh. But all in all, it was a decent pay-per-view. So, let's get started with the review. And, Evolution ended up kicking off with a performance. Sorry about that, but I was saying Evolution ended up kicking off with a music introduction, a live music introduction from Stratus, I think that's how you pronounce her name, and Lizzie Hale. They were playing a song called Evolution, which, was decent. It was a decent song. A decent performance from the both of them. And so after that, we had the first match of the night. It was Alicia Fox and Mickie James versus Lita and Trish Stratus. And before the match, you had Trish Stratus and Lita come out. And Alexa Bliss ended up making her entrance. And she says, it's way past, Trish and Lita's bedtime. And so, she needs them to really focus, on the match. And she introduces the true pioneers of the women's division, or the women's evolution. And it was Alicia Fox and Mickie James. And Alicia ended up replacing Alexa for the match because Alexa once again re-injured herself. And the crowd for this match, it was a fun match. It was, a decent fun match. It was a little bit sloppy in parts, but it was an enjoyable match. The crowd tonight for this pay-per-view was really awesome. It was a really awesome crowd. They were enjoying it, and they enjoyed this match. They were saying to Lita and Trish, they were chants of, "Oh, you still got it." And there's one point in the match where Trish ended up hitting the Stratus faction on Mickie James, and it was cool seeing Trish and Mickie, go at it once again, and brought back memories of Mickie James' storyline with Trish Stratus in like 2005 into 2006, where Mickie James was brought in at that time in 2005, where her character was obsessed with Trish Stratus. If you all remember that, storyline, and it was good seeing them go at it again. It brought back, like I said, memories from that time. And so you had Trish Stratus hit a Stratusfaction on Mickie James. Trish ended up going for the pin, but there was a botch. I guess Alicia was supposed to break the cover, but she ended up coming in late, and so we kind of heard the ref almost say 3, but that was when Alicia came in late and broke up the count. And the end of the match, you had Trish end up hitting Mickie James with the chick kick, and so Trish Stratus end up hitting Mickie James. Lita and Trish win the match. So, but it was a decent match, very fun match, and the crowd was really into it. So then we had Nikki Bella. Well, the Bellas backstage, they were being interviewed. Nikki, about heading into her match with Ronda Rousey, and Brie goes on to say that Ronda, made this personal when she brought up, their love lives, and Nikki says, tonight it's about the women's evolution, and she's dedicating her match to Ronda's mother. And she ends up saying tonight she and Brie are honoring Ronda's mom into the Bella Army. And she also goes on to say that after tonight she is walking out the Raw Women's Champion. So that was the interview with the Bellas, mostly with Nikki Bella. And next we had the 20 woman battle royal, over the top battle royal. It was Naomi, Michelle McCool, Sonya Deville, Alundra Blaze, who was decent in this battle royal. It was cool seeing Alundra Blaze back. And we also got Carmella, Zelina Vega, Kelly will also return for this match, for this battle royal. We had Tamina, Amber Moon, Lana, Maria Kanellis, who hasn't competed in a WWE ring in 8 years. So, and then we had Mandy Rose, Molly Holly, Dana Brooke, Nia Jax, Ivory, Asuka, Tori Wilson, and the Iconics, Peyton Royce and Billie Kay, which they were the first to be eliminated from this women's battle royal. We also saw Mandy Rose eliminating Sonya, her best friend. So we saw that, and the match came down to Amber Moon and Nia Jax, and apparently Zelina Vega wasn't eliminated. She was still in the battle royal, but eventually Nia Jax ended up eliminating Zelina Vega. She ended up tossing Zelina onto Tamina, and it came down to Nia Jax and Amber Moon. A lot of people, including me, thought that Amber Moon was going to win this battle royal, but apparently Nia ended up eliminating Amber, and so Nia Jax ended up winning the match, which to me is kind of disappointing. I like Nia, but you all know where this is leading to. This is leading to Ronda versus Nia 2. And, we already saw, We already saw what happened at Money in the Bank, and we're gonna get this again. I mean, didn't work the first time. What is WWE gonna think? It's gonna work a second time? No, it's not. And there's two reasons I think why that they gave Nia this win. The first thought is Roman Reigns. After after the announcement that he made last Monday on Raw, and the second thing as to why is because The Rock's mother was sitting at ringside. She was there. So to me, I think in my opinion, that's the only two reasons why they gave the win to Nia Jax. And so now Nia Jax ends up, getting a shot at the Raw Women's Championship at any time. So, but all in all, it was a decent battle royal, but disappointing in the end. It could have been Amber's shot. But then after the battle royal, Nia, was being interviewed, and she says, she got to share the ring with incredible talent, and on her mind, is the Raw Women's Championship, and she ends up saying, she's one step closer to the title, and she says she wishes the best to Nikki and Ronda, and whoever wins the match, it wouldn't last long. So that proves that Nia wants that Raw Women's Championship back. But now we're gonna get Nia versus Ronda 2. So didn't work the first time. It's not gonna work for a second time. I mean, who wants to see Ronda versus Nia 2? I don't think anybody will want to see that again. So, but like I said, decent women's battle royal, but disappointed in the end. Then we got Toni Storm versus Io Shirai. This was the final match in the Mae Young Classic, and this was a good match. Could have been a little bit more longer. This lasted like 10 minutes. Sorry about that, but I was saying, this match was good, but it could have gone on much longer. I think this match only lasted like 10 minutes. But the crowd wasn't really into this match. But I enjoyed the Mae Young Classic this year. It was a good competition. Wasn't great or perfect. I'd say it was much better than last year's Mae Young Classic, where last year the final match was Shayna Baszler versus Kairi Sane, and we all know Kairi Sane ended up winning the match, and won the Mae Young Classic last year. But Io Shirai and Toni Storm, I really like these two. I think they were very entertaining. And Io Shirai, I think she does a really awesome moonsault. She ended up doing a moonsault onto Toni Storm and, outside. And the end of the match, Shirai ended up doing another moonsault, but Toni Storm ended up getting her knees up. And it led to Toni Storm end up finishing the match off. She ended up hitting her signature finisher, which is called the Storm Zero, onto Io Shirai. And so sorry about that again, always being interrupted. But like I said, Toni Storm ended up getting the win. Ended up hitting the Storm Zero to Io Shirai. And so Toni Storm wins the 2018 Mae Young Classic. So that's pretty cool. And I wanted Toni Storm, to win it, to win the competition. And she was, after the match, she ended up, they both hugged, Toni Storm and Io Shirai, and then you had Triple H in there with the Mae Young Classic Trophy. Stephanie McMahon was in there, holding flowers, and I think it was the NXT women's coach that was in there also. So it was a good end to the match, to this competition. So I'm really happy for Toni Storm, and she's going to be on that NXT roster. I think she's going to be in NXT UK. Not so sure of that, but she could be in NXT or NXT UK. So, but all in all, it was a good match. Good end to this year's Mae Young Classic, and really happy for Toni Storm. And then we had the 6-woman tag team match: Natalya, Bayley, and Sasha versus the Riott Squad. Ruby Riott, Liv Morgan, and Sarah Logan. And this was just a Raw match. This is something that you would see on Raw. Yeah, this is something that you would see on Raw. But was meh match. Didn't really care for it. I mean, this match, there was no story to this match. I'm like, they just put Natalya, Bayley, and Sasha. They just threw them in this match with the Riott Squad, with no build, no nothing. But the end of the match, you had Natalya doing a powerbomb to Liv Morgan. Bayley ended up hitting the elbow, the Randy Savage elbow to Liv Morgan, and then Sasha ended up hitting the frog splash to Liv Morgan. Went for the pin. There you go. Natalya, Bayley, and Sasha win the match. I said, meh match. Something that you would see on Raw. So, it was a bathroom break match. Did not really care for it. And then we had the NXT Women's Championship match: Shayna Baszler versus Kairi Sane. This was a good match. This was a really enjoyable match. It was back and forth between Baszler and Kairi Sane. Kairi Sane ended up winning the NXT Women's Championship at NXT TakeOver Brooklyn 4, which I was at. And that was a good match. I was really happy to see Kairi Sane win it. And Shayna Baszler, I like Shayna Baszler. She is she's really good in the ring. Has a lot of aggression. And during this match, the turning point was you had Kairi Sane end up giving Baszler back body drop, and Baszler ended up going over the guardrail onto the NXT women wrestlers who were out there. And then you have Jasmine Duke end up grabbing Kairi Sane, and Jasmine Duke is one of the 4 horsewomen of the MMA. She, along with forgot her other name. Marina Shafir. Yeah, Marina Shafir. She was she's also like second woman of the 4 horsewomen of the AMA, along with Shayna Baszler and Ronda Rousey. So, but you had Jasmine Duke end up grabbing Kairi Sane. Kairi Sane ended up taking out Duke with a spinning back fist. And Marina Shafir also ran out there to interfere. Kairi Sane ended up taking her out with a back fist also. And Baszler ended up putting Kairi Sane in the Kirifuda clutch. I think that's how you pronounce it. And then she did the bridge. Kairi ended up doing the bridge. Shayna Baszler ended up kicking out of that. And Kairi Sane ended up, going up to the ropes, and Jessamine Duke ended up punching her, and it allowed Shayna Baszler to go once again for the Kirifuda clutch for a second time. And it looked like Kairi was not going to give up, and Kairi Sane sadly ended up passing out, and it gave Shayna Baszler the win. So Shayna Baszler is now a two-time, I think for the first time ever, a two-time NXT Women's Champion. So that's pretty much what happened. But all in all, it was a good match between Shayna Baszler and Kairi Sane. Really good match. And then you had the last women's standing match for the SmackDown Women's Championship. It was Becky Lynch versus Charlotte. This, in my opinion, this match should have been the main event. Not Ronda Rousey and Nikki Bella. This should have been the main event. Because this match was really good. This match was brutal. There was weapons used. You had, kendo sticks being used. You had, chairs being used, tables. Becky Lynch was, awesome here. Charlotte did a decent job. This was, in my opinion, the best match for both of them. So, sorry about that again, but I said this is the best match for both Becky and Charlotte. Both of them gave it all they got in this match. You had Becky using the chairs on Charlotte. You also had a ladder that was set up, and Becky ended up jumping off the ladder onto Charlotte on the announce table. A botch that happened was Charlotte ended up hitting the moonsault onto Becky, and I guess they both were supposed to go through the table, but it didn't happen, so Charlotte ended up botching that. Charlotte went for another moonsault, and eventually both of them went through the table. So, and the end of the match, you had Becky try to walk away from the match, but Charlotte ended up, going over there and, just throwing punches at Becky, not letting the match, go that way because, of course, there's no disqualifications, no submissions. The only way to win is, if your opponent can't stand up, by the count of 10. So, the end of the match, you had, Charlotte was going to do, another moonsault, but Becky countered it. And Becky ended up powerbombing Charlotte through the table. And Becky ended up winning the match. Charlotte couldn't get to her feet by the count of 10. One point also that I want to mention this match is you had Becky end up throwing chairs, like desk chairs onto Charlotte, even just regular chairs onto Charlotte, so Charlotte wouldn't get up from that. And then you just saw the ref was counting, I think, to 8, and then Charlotte just got out of all the chairs by when the ref counted 9. I was like, what? She got up from that? But yeah, it was crazy how Charlotte got up from being under all those chairs. So, but Becky ends up winning. She still retains the SmackDown Women's Championship, which I like, because if they would have had Charlotte win, everything that they did with Becky would be would be thrown in the garbage. All that. If Charlotte would have won, all that hype and build that they were building up Becky to be, it would have been wasted. So I'm glad that WWE listened to its fans for once. So, but overall, it was a good match. This was the match of the night between Becky and Charlotte. And like I said, this should have been the main event. They should have switched Ronda Rousey and Nikki Bella, and Becky and Charlotte should have main evented by how good this match was. It was a very entertaining, brutal match. And then we had the main event, Ronda Rousey versus Nikki Bella for the Raw Women's Championship. Who gave a shit about this match? Nobody was looking forward to this match. And this match should have been short, but it went on for so long. Maybe about like 15 minutes. This match should have been over in like 60 seconds. Ronda should have just got the armbar on Nikki Bella. Nikki should have tapped. Match would have ended right there. But no. But you had Brie Bella out there, and right when the Bellas came out, Brie was just like waving a flag around that said the Bella Army on it. I'm like, really? And then you had Brie Bella interfering in parts of the match, and Ronda Rousey, she ended up getting the win. She ended up hitting the arm bar. She ended up locking in Nikki Bella with the arm bar. Nikki Bella ended up tapping out. Ronda Rousey wins the match, retains the Raw Women's Championship. It was predictable. You all know that Ronda was not going to lose the title. So it was a predictable match. And the match sucked, in my opinion. It really did. Like, who asked for this match? Who was looking forward to Ronda Rousey versus Nikki Bella? Nobody. So yeah, so Ronda Rousey got the win, and the way the pay-per-view went off the air, which I really liked, is Ronda was making her way up the ramp to the stage, and you had the whole women's, all the women out there on the stage, which was very cool. You had Stephanie McMahon, Triple H out there. Ronda, was in the front, holding up the Raw Women's Championship. So it was a good way to just by that to go off the air, for the pay-per-view to go off the air with all the women coming out. So I really like that, and I think they should use that for when they release the DVD or the Blu-ray, just that image of all the women on the stage out there. I really hope that they would use that. They would use that picture. So yeah, so all in all, Ronda Rousey versus Nikki Bella. Match sucked. Who gave a shit about this match? So, yes, anyways, that's it for my review of tonight's Evolution pay-per-view. The first ever women's pay-per-view for WWE. A historic WWE pay-per-view. First time ever for the woman. So, yeah, so hope you all enjoyed this review. And definitely give this video a thumbs up, comment, subscribe, and I will see you all back here tomorrow night for my Raw review. So I'll see you all tomorrow night with the review.